everyone, and welcome to my podcast where we talk flowers, floral arranging, gardening, and more. I'm Tiffany Rutkowski, and my husband and I are the owners of Creative Designs by Tiffany, a floral and gift shop located in Dalesville, New York. To find out more and to stay up to date, visit our website at cdbytiffany.wordpress.com and connect with us on Facebook and Instagram. I'm passionate about all things beautiful, mainly flowers, and teaching you how to savor all the things of it. You'll hear tips, tricks, and from some of my highly esteemed friends in the business. Today, I'm joined by Dave Warner, producer of Tiffany Talk.
Yes.
Good morning, right?
Slipped in, yeah.
Yes. And we're recording from the beautiful My Little Falls studio. I'm getting more comfortable with the intros now. I have it almost memorized now.
Except that, the camera's there and you put it and say,
I forget about that. So that's the camera I'm using today.
Yeah.
Okay. So today's the review show. So let's see if you can remember all the stuff that we went through in those past few months. So, yeah. Now's your quiz.
The perennial annual question.
Right, yeah. Well, perennials and annuals. How long is perennials? Over courses of time. And then the annuals are one and done, right?
All right.
Okay. So that was your hint question.
Okay. All right.
So I had a couple of cool guests on. So the first one we had in May was Lisa, and she's our local flower grower. So her season is starting to boom right now. So, but if you're in upstate New York and you're listening, how much rain have we had this season? Oh my God. Ridiculous.
It's
ridiculous.
Insane.
Yes.
The Noah jokes are getting old.
Yeah, it is. And even this morning, I didn't know it was going to be raining when I came down today, and it still was raining. So I don't know if there's a break in sight.
I thought there was supposed to be one today.
Right.
This is crazy.
That's it. And so, like you were saying too, for baseball, they haven't gotten a game in.
I know.
Right? So it affects everything, but especially with flowers. So this year, generally what I do is there's a few plots up at the cemetery that we put flowers down, and then I just maintain them throughout the season for people who aren't from the area. And this year, this is the first year I've ever seen that I have to worry about overwatering. Normally, I have to worry about it drying out, and they're in the little containers. So you have to go up and water them periodically. This year has been overly wet. Wow. So it's been an issue with gardening and stuff. So while we're on that subject, for actual gardening, I know some people have had some issues with things, you can't have that much rain for certain pieces. Celery is great, like in your garden, that needs a lot of water. Berries are doing really good right now. But that sunshine really delays everything. So I don't know if you've noticed. Do you have a garden? I don't know if
I don't have a garden back here, but it looks like a jungle with all the rain. Right. I was just looking at it going, you can't get back there to even trim. And then the trees have grown extra on bushes.
They have.
I mean, everything's filled in.
It's a lush rainforest right now.
God. Yeah, it's horrible.
So mowing your lawn probably is like 2 times a week as compared to 1 time a week. So
well, you can't get 2 times in a week. You don't have enough days.
That's it. I've been mowing some days when it's sprinkling out because I just want to get it cut before it happens. But anyway,
do you see that thing on Facebook? Somebody posted a picture of I'm going out to check to see if my lawn needs to be mowed, and the water was like about 4 feet deep.
That's how it looks right now everywhere. So our pools are overflowing and stuff. So anyway, but with lettuce, so I had this problem that iceberg lettuce that you grow. Sometimes you can grow them in containers, but if you grow them in containers, bring them inside before they get overwatered. That's a given, or put them under a porch or something, or monitor how much they're getting watered so they don't get soaked through, or rotate them around. That's what I like to do with my ferns so they get evenly watered. But the iceberg lettuce, so I had this problem, and I wish I brought it ahead with me. So you know what iceberg looks like in the store, right? So it opens up and it flowers around it. So you take that piece in the middle, and that's your iceberg head. This year it's been so wet and so low to the ground that the whole bottom underneath is all brown. So my tip for that is that once you see it start budding, cut it off and then use them as small pieces. They're a little bit more, not sour tasting, but they taste just a little different. They're not as sweet as it would be if you left it all the way, but otherwise you're going to lose your whole head of lettuce. So my mother-in-law's had that issue. I've had that issue that we just leave it so long and then you don't realize. So check underneath too, to start seeing if that brown part or moldy kind of looking lettuce is starting to look that way. Same thing with the flowers. So with flowers, there's this thing called pinching. So they do that with dahlias and then with cosmos and any of these little branched ones that you see different leads going on and off of them. So with the pinching, what happens is that it allows just a few of them to start developing as compared to the whole plant developing. So with less than adequate sunlight this year, I'd suggest pinching where normally you don't normally pinch everything. You can kind of let your wildflowers grow up and they look beautiful. This year, let it concentrate on just a few blooms because then they'll really start popping out. And that's something right now, like I was talking about Lisa, her stuff is starting to pop right now, which is we're in middle of July. Generally, it was the end of June. So it's all that delay just on that, sunshine, basically. So we need sunshine.
Or lack thereof.
Right. So we definitely need sunshine to be coming in. But I am excited about her season, and all the local stuff is starting to pop now finally. And hopefully if we get a few days of sunshine, it'll really start to pop. So, you know, sunflowers need a lot of sun. Those are starting to come through, and you'll see them on, there's a huge, I think, sunflower farm that they just out in Ingham's Mills. Huge. They just use them. I don't even know if she charges for people to go and cut them out.
Oh, wow.
So be on the lookout for sunflowers. Those are starting to come up. Dahlias are coming up too. Your Lizzie Anthuses, those are all starting. So it's a good season for local time. And especially in upstate New York, this is our first month of maybe 3 that will have local flowers until it freezes and snows. So lucky us.
Which is 2-3 months away. No.
Right. That's a big countdown now. So you're starting to look and say, well, you really cut them, use them when you want to. So I'll go into this now. So this is your bouquet that you and Deborah, that I always bring. Little bouquet here for you guys. So this, and I don't know how far this thing zooms in. Sorry, this is not my.
Well, if you just lift it up, it's, I can see it.
I forget. See, so this is our grab and go bouquet. And I have a young girl in the store that just started. Her name is Jen. So in our grab and go bouquets, we try and just do a quick, like you would see at the grocery store, little mix of something. Usually there's a few focal flowers and then fillers and then the greens, we call it. So this is how it'll normally come. And in the grocery store, you'll get it this way too. There's a little food packet here. So you unwrap it. I usually tie it this way with a rubber band. Can you see this?
Hold it up just a little bit higher.
A little bit higher. Yeah. So we'll unwrap it here for you. And later you'll have to put this in a vase, obviously. But so it comes this way.
This is such a good show when you get gifts.
Isn't it cool? Yeah.
Chocolates, flowers.
Well, I was like, what colors do I want to do this week? Because I didn't have any yellow roses. And I remember you liked yellow roses, but purple will have to do for you.
Purple's great.
So and I'll go on to the next thing with this too, because that's great. So we'll stay on subject, Tiffany. Right. In the morning, I get off subject. So anyway, you take off your rubber band, but this is the most important part. So this I didn't do purposely for you. I don't know if you can see this.
I can see
they look like clog stems. I call them clog stems because you can't see them.
Okay.
It looks like it's mushy, and it doesn't look like it's a clear stem. It's not white in the center. Once you cut off about 1/4 of an inch, and you'll want to do this with any grocery store bouquet, and you can do this with any bouquet that you receive from a florist too, 2 to 3 days later, you want to just cut that little 1/4 off. So about this far, and cut it at an angle. And
you wait a couple of days to do that. You don't do it right away. I've typically done it as soon as I get them from the store.
And you can do that when you get them from the store, and these are called dry stored. So they've been sitting for a while, so they're dried off. Okay. So generally when you get a vase and it's in water, you don't need to do that for a few days. When they're dry stored like this, you'll want to cut them off about 1/4 of an inch, put them in that water, stir it up according to the directions. These are generally, you can put it in a vase and you'll be okay with it. Sometimes they have, they're over concentrated. I just put it in there. You can save half if you want for the next time, just so that you have fresh water, fresh food. So that's really important with these. But you'll see these, especially this amaranthus, it's really taken in a lot of water. If you let this die, like say till this afternoon, and you don't put it in water, it'll flop right over. Cut off 1/4 inch, put it in water, give it like 10 or 12 hours, and it'll pop right back up again. So that's a common misconception with people. It's dying, it's faded, and you get it, at a grocery store. Oh, it's dying and faded. Well, you can cut it back a little bit and see if it'll come back once it takes in that water, because it needs all of that water. Now for the next part of it, these are roses. So
I have not seen a purple rose before.
People have said that.
I'm looking at it going,
these are okay. So that's part of my store too. It's always unique pieces. So I have these, they're called quicksand roses. I think when Snezhnana, I can't pronounce her name.
Yes.
Snezhnana was here last time. She was talking about those, and then she had some pictures of those. So those are kind of the colors now that are coming out, these sand light colors. They're not your typical red, yellow, orange roses that you'll see. This is a very popular color this year. There's another one called Amnesia, which is a purplish rose, but more of a gray tint to it. So I had ordered Amnesia, again, with the supply and demand market. I didn't get what I wanted. So this is the color I got. This is Ocean Song. So if you're very chic and looking into doing weddings, you'll know, bougie. You will know all of these, and you'll be able to tell the different tints. And for me, it's color specific. So I like to have a very specific color. These did this week, but not the amnesia color that I wanted with a little more gray.
Are they fragrant?
These are not as fragrant.
Okay.
I should have brought with me today. There's polo roses. So I had gotten those in. Someone wanted some white roses. They're different than the ones that you see in the store. They're not as small and they open right up. So they have a huge head and they look like a garden rose or almost like a peony when they open up.
Wow.
So they don't last as long as a typical rose would just because of that. They're very fragile, but they're beautiful. So you're kind of taking, somebody said once that, flowers, you have to take them for what they are. And sometimes they last 2 or 3 days, but that's the beauty of them. Yeah. You want them for those 2 or 3 days.
Well, if it opens large like that, right. It's fragrance.
Exactly.
I mean, yes. 2 or 3 days
that's
of that.
That's it.
Don't complain.
Right. Exactly. And that's where a lot of people have to decide if they want the quick fix of a carnation will last 2 weeks and, whatever, or you have that nice unique piece. So it's all on preference, and that's what I'm learning too at the store. So, but these, if you wanted to, some people like to dry flowers. So if you wanted to take this, not do anything with it, let it finish off all of its wetness and all of its absorbing the water. So you'll see the stem kind of look like this, hang it upside down for, I'd say 2 or 3 days. So you can do it from anywhere. I do it in the store. I have a ceiling fan that I hang them all from.
They're flying around?
Yeah, no, I don't turn the ceiling fan on, or I try not to at least.
Get the flowers going.
Well, that
Dry
was the
now.
joke. Yeah,
half an hour.
Yeah, that was the joke at Christmas time because we had it so it was decorated with all the bulbs coming down. And
right.
Ben, my husband, was looking at it and he was like, "What would you do if I pushed that around?" I said, "Don't you turn that around." They all go flying. So anyway, but to dry these, and that's something too that's been very popular is that people like to dry their flowers because then once they've had their season, hang them upside down. You can dry them, put them in a wreath, put them, just in an arrangement. So I have a couple of vases in the store that are just dried roses and it looks pretty nice too. So it's not always done the second that you see them start fading. So, so your review, how far are you cutting these stems?
Half an inch.
Yeah, about 1/2 inch. Yeah. And then, it's up to you.
I didn't know there was going to be a test.
Right.
Well, thank God I was paying attention.
See, you were that time. So see, that's and depending on what your vase looks like, and that's where you can really be creative. And that's why I like these grab and goes because people say, "Oh, this looks great," and it does. It looks nice if you put it in a vase just like that. That's perfect. Or you can be creative, move stuff around, put it in your vase how you like it, make it one-sided, put all the greens in one side, put all the flowers on the other. Make it go up and down, do what you want to do with it. So that's why these are nice. And personally, even if you got an arrangement from me in a vase, you can keep moving it around, make it look like you want it to do. Because it's not just something that you can enjoy on your table. While it's nice that you like me as a designer, you can always do it too. So people are sometimes intimidated. I don't want to take it out of the vase and start arranging it, but it's a lot of fun. Very therapeutic. So
I won't be doing that.
No, you won't. So if I give you a vase arranger, you're not going to say, "Oh, yeah. I think I'll move this rose here."
That's not going to happen.
Okay. So it's up to people.
Looks good.
But, right. And a lot of women do like to do that too. Sometimes they get stuff and they say, "Oh, I think I'll move this around." And we try and make it so that, like I said, this is kind of a formula. So there's 3 or 4 greens, there's 3 or 4 filler pieces, if you will, which are like these Queen Anne's lace. And then you have your focal flowers, which are like the roses. These Queen Anne's lace too, these are really popular. They don't look like the roadside Queen Anne's lace, right? You see it? Yeah. So these right here. These are called chocolate Queen Anne's lace. And you can see they kind of have that little chocolatey tint to them. Little burgundy. It's great going into the transition of the fall colors and stuff. And then it really brings out this too. So just something different. And that's what I try and do in the store. A lot of florists have, the baby's breath and limonium and the traditional fillers. And the season, when I can, I try and do different pieces like this just because they look different. And, who else has different? Different, right? So
sometimes
a little bit of everything. So, so that's your arrangement there. And before I leave, I'll make sure you got it so you can put it in your vase and last. So make sure you're good on that.
Gonna have to line the vases up.
Right. That's it. Or you could put them in a few different vases. There's options. So see, that's always nice. So yeah, we were talking about the gardening and all the over wetness. So then the next part is bugs. So we had talked about that with Lisa, all of the bugs. Aphids, little flyers. You'll see these little bugs and gnat type of things, I think, more with the rain and the moisture. If you take like a big hydrangea bush and you push it back, all of a sudden you'll see all these little flies start coming out. Yeah. So some of them are good, some of them are bad. This year I had what's called a robber fly in my garden. And the robber fly, it sounds bad. I know it sounds bad, but it actually is a good fly because it takes all of the bad insects out. So it just kills all of these little insects that you're not supposed to have that start eating through your leaves. and it's robbing the plant basically. So in a way, it's good.
No,
isn't that interesting? So
that's interesting.
Opposites. Yeah.
If they work, I'd be breeding them.
Right. Well, and ladybugs, that's a thing too. And ladybugs,
good, yeah.
Ladybugs, since last year, because of everything that happened and everybody started growing their own stuff, ladybugs were in a high demand that a lot of people couldn't get them. So I don't know where they're at this season. I know like the beginning of the season, you couldn't order your ladybugs. And there are ladybug imposters that you probably see too, that they're not actual ladybugs and they're doing no good. They look like a ladybug, but they're doing no good.
Really?
So yes, things to look out for. So as far as for the gardening, so what I use, and there's two different things that you can do. So overall, real quick fix, Sevin. Have you seen the Sevin in stores? So it's Sevin. And it's a powder. It's very concentrated, covers pretty much anything and everything you would have in this area as far as bugs and invasives that you don't want on your plants. On the back of it, it'll tell you, and this goes for flowers too. Flowers you don't eat though generally. There are a couple of them you can eat, but for the most part, people aren't eating their flowers out of their garden. This is more for vegetables. There's days that you have to kind of watch. And as you're starting to get closer to harvest, you're not going to want to put the Sevin on top of it because you're ingesting that. I think honestly, it may cause cancer. I'm not positive on that, but it's like that kind of thing that you don't want to be ingesting. So you have to be careful of that. Putting it on too before rain, obviously. Not the smartest. It cakes on there, and obviously it doesn't do what it's supposed to be doing. You want a nice, cool, calm day that you can do it maybe in the morning, first thing, or at night. So that's the quick fix, and honestly, that's where I tend to run to because I don't want to deal with any bugs, and this will cover everything. Now the other thing is neem oil. So it's NEEM oil. Neem oil is really good. Only it inhibits the pollination process of the honeybees. So I'll get into that and further. Okay. So neem oil is great. It is all natural and organic. You have to be careful when you put it on your plants because it will fry the plants because it's oil. So think about if you're making a fried egg in oil, it's going to fry your egg, right? So neem oil
not
is
when
going
there's no
to fry.
heat.
Well, see the heat from outside. So so you take that oil and you put it on your plant and it's sunny, it's going to tend to fry those leaves. You don't want to do that. So make sure that it's, an overcast day or first thing in the morning or late at night that you're putting that on. It is very effective and it's natural. Sevin, you don't want to ingest it. Neem oil, you can. It's an all organic piece.
Do you spray it on?
Yep, you spray it on. And so generally at Lowe's, you'll see it and it's already deconcentrated. So you can spray it, just open it up, spray it, and you're good. There is the highly concentrated that if you spray that, your plants are going to die. It's overly concentrated. So with neem oil, it's good. But like I said, with the pollination now. So honeybees are very important to the process of, so for my zucchinis this year, do you grow zucchinis or cucumbers? Do you know the flowers that come out on them? They're really huge, and you can kind of tell that it's going to be a good crop or not because you see these buds start coming out. So for zucchinis, they need that pollination. So when you start spraying the neem oil too thick, it inhibits the bees from coming over. They don't get pollinated. Then what happens?
No fruit.
Right, exactly. See, you're good. You're paying attention.
I have to now. So, I know I'm going to be tested.
Right.
I'm sitting here going,
what is she
pay attention, don't daydream.
Right. So anyway, so with that, I talked to my dad and I said, hey, listen, so I think it's all this water that all of these zucchinis, they're starting to come out. They might be this long or so, and they're going to start producing, but then they're starting to brown off. And so they kind of tip off of the end of it. And instead of it, growing out to be a full zucchini, they're just dying off and they're getting brown. And I said, well, I think it's all that water. And he said, it's the pollination. They're not getting pollinated. So, I don't know how many people would know this or not, but this is a tip that I use. So if I see it's not getting pollination well, and there's a couple of plants of mine that I thought were getting overwatered, but it actually was a pollination part, I take just a Q-tip. And you just Q-tip it. I was
going to guess that.
Yes, and you pollinate it yourself. So there's little mini fruit trees that people get, those dwarf trees. Those, I keep mine inside, obviously, in the winter because they're tropicals. You can't put them outside. Way too cold. So you keep them inside, but they don't get that pollination. So at the beginning of the season, you have to use a Q-tip to pollinate them because otherwise they're not going to start producing.
Now I know
fruit.
why bees sting us.
Right.
They're taking their jobs away.
Yes, that's it. Well, maybe. Some of them are just mean. Some of them are just nasty, and I still haven't figured out why they're all around. But the honeybees in general are pretty good, and they won't sting you as much. So, you kind of let them do their job. But if they can't do their job because there's too much neem oil on something, or you see that your plants aren't producing the way they're supposed to be, use that Q-tip and see what happens. And we're so we're not too far into the season yet that it's too far gone. You could still do that easily. And that's just my tip for that don't think it's overwatered and it's starting to brown from that, because you would naturally think that when you overwater something, it's going to get brown. So it's interesting, right? So,
well, so typically pollination, isn't that like a one-time thing?
Yes. So,
or is it an ongoing thing that?
It depends on what the plant is. So, for the zucchinis, for example, so they just need those to get going, and then it keeps it going. So, the flower, you'll see it starts to die off, and then all of a sudden the zucchini starts coming out.
Right.
So you don't need to do it, every day. I would say, once. Think about a honeybee. How often do you see your bees in the garden? And that's a thing too, where we are, and we're in the Southern Adirondack Park. We've barely seen any honeybees this year. So whether it's how much you're spraying, whether it's just a natural causes, too many, each year it changes. And that's why farming is so tough. We talked about that too, with even flowers, that each year it's just this next thing you have to navigate. No two seasons are the same. So kind of watch and see. If you don't see any honeybees around, you can probably guarantee your flowers and your garden aren't getting enough pollination. So, and there are those little bees, I call them, that they get you and they sting you. They're just little things. They do pollinate too, just not at the rate that like a honeybee would. So it's important. And, all of these little pieces, the way it's designed, all kind of go in together. Then you realize afterwards, wow, it's amazing how all of it kind of works into making it, your pieces of fruit and your pieces of whatever your flowers are and vegetables. So keep an eye out for that. But, that's two different pieces that I would suggest using. 7, if you want a quick one and done, or the neem oil. 7, like I said, just be careful on your harvesting days. So like for lettuce, you can't do it within 2 weeks. So you don't want to sprinkle and then take your head of lettuce a week later. You got to give it that 2 weeks so it kind of dies out. So just keep that in mind when you're doing it. Don't say, okay, I'm going to do this now, and then tomorrow I'm going to go out and take my peas off. You can't really do that. So, and there's little guides on the back of it if you actually read it through. So, anyway, so that was
I'm a guy, we don't read instructions.
I know. Well, that's it. So anyway, so that was just kind of our review show and stuff. And like, Sjana, when she was here, now it's getting into the season too for all of the events and weddings and stuff. And it's beautiful out. I think there's quite a few event places I've seen around that I didn't realize were here. There's Providence Farm down in Stone Arabia now. Beautiful venue over on Snellsbush. There's putting up another one too. So there's a lot of options in this area now. So it's kind of exciting now to see everything getting back to normal and all of the festivals and stuff too.
I was over at Rustic Ties Friday night for the Jake Dodds concert.
It's awesome. Yep.
Oh man, that was a blast.
I know. Isn't that cool?
That's a great facility.
It's nice to be out and about and in Dodgeville. Isn't that great too? So it's great. And I'm very happy that that's kind of picking back up again. So keep that in mind as you're going through your summers, that all these little pieces that you're hearing on these podcasts and stuff, it all kind of works together. So we have just a quick break and my next guest will be on. So
visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
So this is the and more part, and I wanted to have Jess Bruce on today, and she is from Zipp's in Dodgeville, which is Zipp's Hardware, which everybody knows in town. So thanks for being on today, Jess.
No problem. Glad to be here.
All right, good. I'm glad this worked out too, and I know you're working and stuff, so we'll make it quick. But I wanted to make sure each podcast I try and have someone from Dodgeville on. to talk about their business and stuff. So obviously I've known you for a lot longer than I've had the store because you are the hardware person. So, right. So I figured it'd be great to have you on, and you can kind of talk about what you guys do up there. Obviously the hardware store, but how long have you guys had the store, and what do you basically sell up there? So you can tell us about that.
Basically, Rick and Scott bought it from Mr. Zipp back in October of 1997, and we've had it with us ever since. Awesome. And everybody's known it as Zipp Hardware, so when they bought it, they asked if they could use buy the rights to the name to keep it as it is, because like you said, it's always been Zipp Hardware.
Awesome. Yep. It's so cool. And basically you guys sell everything a hardware store would. You do keys, or hardware store would. You have the keys, you do anything basically that I need for the store. I run over there quick. You have the fencing that I need for chicken wire. You have cleaning products, mason jars. And then what are some of the things that you've been selling? Do you have any new products you've been selling, or?
Unfortunately, with COVID, things have been really restricted on new items.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've got your fair amount of normal stuff. We've got a variety of solar lights for someone, looking up to spruce up their flower beds, or we actually have angels and crosses for those people who want to do something pretty on the cemetery stones and stuff.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we have those.
Very cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's really neat. And then you have your coolers and chairs and paint section. And I'm trying to go through each aisle now. Everything, there's everything you can need in that store. So, so you guys have been there.
We're finally getting shop vacs back in again. So now we have a variety of shop vacs.
Very important. And those are the wet dry vacs, right? So you can wet. Yep. Awesome. So your basement floods from all of this rain. You can use that. And then you can also vacuum your carpet. So awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So how many employees do you guys have up there right now?
There's 4 of us all together. We have 3 full-time and 1 part-time girl.
Awesome. Yep.
Well, I should say 2 part-time girls because my daughter too.
I was going to say she's there on Tuesdays. Yes. So, and she's my part-time delivery person too now this summer. So happy to have her on, and she's a great worker. So yeah, I mean, basically I just wanted to have you on to tell us about the store. Can you tell us what your actual location of the business is?
The actual location is 73 North Main Street in Dollarville.
Awesome. And then you're on Facebook, I know. Are you on Facebook, Instagram? What are the handles, or how would they find you?
I just do Facebook.
Okay.
And you can, in your searches, you just type in Zipp Hardware and we'll come up.
Awesome.
Any questions or whatever, when you message the hardware store, it actually comes through to me.
Okay.
Because I'm the manager of the site.
Awesome.
So I try and get back at it, usually in a reasonable time. If we're busy, obviously I can't, but you're always welcome to call the store. We have a fax line available. So if you need faxes or whatever.
I was just telling Dave the fax line, and I said, I'm not sure if it's the same line.
I said, do people still use faxes?
I think they do. I really think they do.
Yep.
So
a lot of the older generation and whatnot, but we still have those that need to fax.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I'm a spring chicken, so I wouldn't know about faxes.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Very good. And what's the phone number there again? For Zips, I just called it, but is it 429?
9761.
9761. Perfect. And yeah, you could kind of guess, if you know Scott and Rick, you can kind of guess that Jess would be the manager of the social media. I love those guys, don't get me wrong, but you can kind of guess that Jess would definitely be the manager. So that's awesome. So and then do you guys have any upcoming events? I know once in a while Bug Country comes out. Anything going on this summer, or?
No, we already did our Bugcast for the summer. Okay. So now it would be more this winter time when they do Stuff the Bus. Okay, awesome. So be on the lookout for that too. Just little fun events. See, they're not just a hardware store. So you got to remember that too. So, well, thanks so much for being on today, Jess. Anything else you want to add, or any specials you have going on at the store? Not really. The flyer we have out is almost done, so everything will change next month. Okay. But if you got broken windows or screens, we do them. Okay, that's and plus, yeah, and anybody, there's still a few people that use kerosene heaters to heat like their garages or as backup heat. and we still service them too.
Awesome. Very good to know. See that?
It's July. We still need them.
I know.
Yes, I know.
Isn't that great?
July in upstate New York. Make sure your kerosene heater is working.
Hey, I think it's supposed to be down to like 50 this week.
Is it really?
That's what I saw. So
see?
Yeah.
Jess, get ready. Get ready for the rush.
Yep. That's it. So, and what days are you open? That's the other thing. So you're open every single day.
We're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5:30.
Okay.
Saturday, 8 to 5, and Sunday, 9 to 1.
On 4 people. That's crazy, right? So you have no time off, basically. It's like
yep, pretty much.
Yes.
We make it work, though.
Good. Well,
it's a family business. There is no time off.
That's it. That's
you
how
know
it
that.
Works. Yep. That's how it works. Well, thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day today to be on today.
No problem.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Jess, for being on. I will talk to you soon.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thanks. You too. Bye. All right. And that concludes today's podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation. So isn't that cool though? I love having the dodgeballs, and I've got a secret too. So be on the lookout for this. Nick LeCarry is going to be my next guest. So I can't wait for that. He's
that'll be good.
Made for a podcast too. So
yeah, he is.
So I love all these dodgeball businesses too. And that's part of what I love doing up there, that you have one shop, but then it's kind of like a big, I don't know, everybody helps each other out and stuff. So I love being able to feature them on too. So keep an eye out for that on next episode. So, all right. And you can catch us, let's see, the third Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. and wherever you get your favorite podcasts.